Hey, welcome back to my channel. So a lot has been happening in the past, I guess, like couple of days. The last video I posted, which I'll link up above, was another Breech update about the Surrogacy baby, and at that time she was a Breech, and we just had our 36-week appointment on Monday, so yesterday. I'm filming this on Tuesday. Hopefully this will go up either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. We'll see. But I wanted to jump on here and just like update you guys. So at the appointment on Monday, if you don't remember from the other video, we were meeting with my midwife in the morning and then having our OB appointment in the afternoon. And we met with my midwife in the morning and everything was great, and we had a really good conversation, kind of just like asking questions and wondering, you know, what we were going to do about the breech. And just my intended parents had a lot of questions for my midwife because she's going to be our doula. And, you know, we just kind of chatted for like an hour or two. And then we went out to kind of like brunch lunch, which was really fun. And then we actually came back to the hospital and had a tour of the birthing suite because the intended father hasn't actually seen the birthing suite at the hospital that we're planning to deliver at. So that was really fun, and we got to see, you know, all the interesting things that they have in the birthing suite at the hospital. So let me just get to the good part. So we went into OB and instantly we went into the ultrasound room because we were supposed to be getting a biophysical, which is essentially an ultrasound that they do within 30 minutes. The baby has to do a certain amount of things like move around, swallow, empty her bladder, her heart rate has to like get up to a certain amount. So the ultrasound tech, you know, got me all like nice and lubed up on my stomach, and she's kind of rolling around and we're like just sitting there waiting, like, you know, is she in the right position? Like, you know, what position is she in? And so then finally we were like, so is she breech? And the tech's like, huh, what? No, she's not breech, she's head down. And we were like, what? Like, she was just breech like yesterday. And I was like, we were all so surprised. Like we couldn't even keep in our excitement. And I instantly felt so much better because I was like, oh, are you, thank God, you know, like really? And I swear that she must have either turned that night or like early in the morning, because I did feel like slightly different. Like I felt like there was a lot more kind of space up here, but I never felt like any massive movement or any of that. And the ultrasound tech thought that that was really kind of weird. She was like, oh, I feel like you would have definitely felt like a big, you know, turn. And as far as I know, I totally didn't. I have no idea if any of the stuff actually worked that I did, like the exercises. And I will try to like link either some pictures of me like doing the exercises or like some links down below. We were all just super, super excited. And, you know, so then we just kind of kept enjoying the ultrasound, like, because we were there for 30 minutes, like looking at her, and she was moving around, and the intended parents were just like so excited, and everybody was excited. Like we're all, you know, just like having a really good time. And she was doing great. Like everything, you know, was fine in the ultrasound. We didn't have to wait an extra like 20 minutes or something for her to do some other task that the ultrasound tech was looking for her to do. It was fine. So we were all like just super happy. And then after the biophysical, then I had a non-stress test, which is where they just strap the two straps around your belly. One is for contractions and another one is for her heart rate. And so you're supposed to sit there for 20 minutes and just see if she like shows any signs of stress. And we all just sat in that room and, you know, kind of chatted and just like talked like about the baby and how we were so excited that she was head down. And as far as I know, she's still head down, and I feel like she's gonna stay there, which is so good. And I was actually having a couple contractions like through that. There was one like really big one that like almost touched like the top of the piece of paper that comes out of the fetal monitor thing. And I didn't even notice that I was having a contraction, and the nurse was really surprised that I didn't notice it. She was like, that was a really big jump. Like, you should have, you know, felt something. And I was like, well, you know, I felt some tightening, but it wasn't, you know, it just wasn't that intense. And I told her, I was like, I've had 2 home births without medication. I usually don't like go into labor until like my water like is broken, and yeah, so that's just kind of my body's thing, I guess. But and so that turned out fine. The non-stress test was great, like everything was fine. And then we went, or I went into the exam room to have the group B strep test done. And I was waiting in there for a while. I want to say like probably more than 10 minutes. And nobody was in there with me. My husband and the intended parents were waiting in the waiting room because that test is like a little bit invasive. Not really, but you know, they were just in the waiting room, and I was gonna call them back in once I was done. So I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and it was a little bit like nerve-wracking because I was like, why am I like waiting so much? And our doctor came in and he was like, you know, everything looks fine. She's breech. This is so great, you know. And I was like, yeah, like we all couldn't believe it. And then he said, but we did find something on the ultrasound. And I was like, oh, what? You know, he's like, I don't actually know what it is, but it's something on her intestines. Apparently there's an area on her chest, on her intestines, that is almost pinched or has a blockage, like it's normal and then it gets really thin. And he's like, I don't know why that's there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's anything. He's like, it's not, you know, causing a detriment right this moment. Like, it's not an emergency. He's like, but I want you guys to get a second opinion. And I was pretty surprised, but also then it made sense why I was waiting for so long, because he was like looking at the ultrasound pictures and he had the 2 pictures of like her intestines right there. He also asked, he's like, I know that the intended parents are both carriers for cystic fibrosis, and we can sometimes see this in cystic fibrosis babies. They just get like too much stickiness in their intestines. And I was like, well, they had a donor egg and they used his sperm, and the donor was around 25, and she was also tested for cystic fibrosis, so there really shouldn't be like any cystic fibrosis in this baby. He talked a little bit about how there might be a new mutation with it, but he really wasn't sure. He just was saying sometimes they see this, but he was like, I'm not even really sure what this is. Like, this might be nothing, this might be a lot. He's like, but right now, like, it's not a massive problem. He's like, but you do need to go to a different hospital and get a second opinion, because if she needs a NICU after she's born, the hospital that we're planning to deliver at doesn't have a NICU, so they will send you elsewhere. So once he kind of gave me the news, you know, I just was kind of like, okay, you know, like, we just have to tell the intended parents. So they brought the intended parents in, and, you know, he instantly started telling them what he had just told me. And my intended mother got very emotional, which obviously, like, that, you know, that's totally understandable. They asked a couple questions, and they were kind of in like a state of shock. So my husband and I kind of took over a little bit, and we were like, you know, what do we do next? How do we get a referral? How do we, like, which hospital do you want to pick? So the intended parents ended up picking Dartmouth Hitchcock, which, if you know, if you're local to me, like, that's about an hour plus away for me, and it's about probably almost 2.5 hour drive for my intended parents. So it is far away, but it is a very good hospital. here in New Hampshire. So they decided to have the referral sent there. And we did make a follow-up appointment for next week for the local hospital, just in case. So that was all on Monday, and today's Tuesday, so I'm waiting for that referral call so that we can schedule like a high-tech ultrasound and, you know, get the second opinion from a different doctor. I'm not sure what doctor we're gonna see because, you know, I don't really have very much information. The doctor did mention that if this had gone undetected, it might just be something where they would just have to do a little surgery and like cut out the bad intestines and just sew the healthy intestines together, and she would be fine. He really doesn't know exactly what it is, so that was just kind of something that he said. But the intended parents are really concerned, and I'm concerned as well too, only in the sense that I'm not really sure, like, you know, what kind of delivery we're gonna have, because Dartmouth Hitchcock is so far from me. I don't think that going into labor spontaneously is a safe idea for me because I deliver so fast, and the hospital's an hour plus away from me. We could have the baby in the car, which would be completely unsafe. So we're either looking at an induction or a C-section, depending on like what they find when we have our consultation appointment. But we might not even have to do that. Like, we might be able to deliver at the local hospital, depending on what they find. So, you know, things are still kind of up in the air, but I feel better in the sense that this is not something I can control. This isn't something that I caused. None of the responsibility is really on me. I am just here to host the baby and make sure that I'm healthy and ready for delivery, however it pans out. I feel like with the breech thing, that was kind of like all on me to make her turn, and I don't even know if I had any influence on making her turn. I really don't feel like I did, but maybe I did. I'm not really sure. I didn't actually feel her turn, so I feel like that's kind of why I'm sort of like, meh, I don't know if it worked. Like, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I feel like this is good news and kind of bad news, but like, we're not sure if it's bad news. Right now I'm 36 weeks. I'll be 37 weeks on Saturday. So, you know, if she were to be delivered today, she would be fine. We would just need, the intended parents would just need to bring her to a NICU. So I could still deliver at my local hospital if I went into labor, and they would just ambulance her to where she needed to be. So it's not something that I'm like completely engulfed with or like obsessing over, like, because there's nothing I can do about her intestines. I'm not here to support the intended parents with their, like, you know, issues with this and trying to deal with this. Like, they need to have their own support network. I have my own support network with whatever happens with the delivery and myself. So, you know, I am just kind of in this mindset of, okay, she's head down now. If she came out, it would be okay. Like, I would be able to, you know, give birth to her naturally, which would be great. And she would just be taken off to wherever she needed, and I would be taken care of by my support team. And all I have to do is just enjoy the rest of the pregnancy, stay as healthy as possible, and, you know, just wait for whatever they say at this appointment. We are hoping to have that consultation appointment this week, hopefully at the end of this week, if not next week. But my intended parents really want to have it as soon as possible, so hopefully we hear something either today or tomorrow. If I don't hear anything by Wednesday, I'm going to be calling. But yeah, like, that's the news, I guess. This week for videos is going to be a little bit more sporadic, since like we do kind of have this like stuff that's coming up. But I'm gonna get this video out as soon as I can, and I do want to thank everybody for all their support and like hope for the breech, and we are very excited that she has turned and she's, you know, figured out where she's supposed to be now. I feel like whatever happens to her from this consultation, the intended parents will completely be able to take care of it. And but I do wish the best for them and their family, and yeah. So, but anyways, I think that that's all I wanted to update you guys on. I don't know the results yet of the group strep, so I was negative with my 2 boys, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'll be negative with this one. But you know, even if I am, like, I just have to have antibiotics during the labor, so it's not really like that big of a deal. But yeah, so I will try to keep you guys updated as soon as I know stuff. If you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely follow me there, because I'll do some updates on the stories there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.